Hello guys, welcome to Central New York Backpacker. Coming at you today to do a post-through hike gear review for the Northville Placid trail. And we'll start off with my pack, which is a Hyperlight mountain gear. It's a Southwest 3400. The only thing I carried on this was the bandana, a tempi sensor, and I have this little IMAX alarm sound cannon, which is 130 decibels, in case I had problems with bears or if I needed help to draw attention. And it's pretty much bomb proof. You know, it didn't leak. Absolutely no complaints about that whatsoever. I also carried 3 of these large pods, which I really like. They're waterproof. Held all my gear. Moving along. For my food bag, carried the air sack with the rock sack as well. The only issue I had with this when it rained, it didn't hold water. But it did get a little bit wet, and then I had to put it in my pack. As far as bear bagging, I don't know, I don't really recommend that, but you know, it's just like a personal thing. I think that this is a better option. You know, you tie this on the tree. If you do it correctly, the bear's not gonna get it, and neither are any of the other animals. You know, you got other animals out there besides bears that can get at your stuff. But enough on that. My raincoat and my rain kilt are Light Heart gear. The rain kilt I really recommend and really enjoyed. It worked well, kept my bottom half dry. The coat, on the other hand, I struggled with. I mean, it rained out there, and sometimes you're just going to get wet. But I guess I'm not sure if the weight of the pack was forcing the water through the membrane, because it is still nylon, and it's only waterproof up to a certain pressure. So yeah, I'm not sure if that's what was going on, but I struggled with that. But it's warm, and I probably would bring it again, but as of right now. My brother, on the other hand, he came with me. You probably noticed him in the videos. He had the green parka on, and it's just a you know, the Walmart, cheap Walmart. It's like $7, and it covered his whole pack, and it worked well. It did rip it a little bit, but didn't, you know, some of the buttons kind of tore off it, but you know, yeah, it worked well for him. So moving along to my everyday wear. This is a Patagonia R1. Has the hoodie. It's a half zip. Just really love this piece of gear. It worked well. It was nice when you get into camp. You know, if you were wet, you take off your wet stuff. You could just put this on, and you were warm. Had the hoodie, and I use this every day. Worked great. This was also my backup sleepwear in case I got cold at night. And it also dried well. It got a little bit damp a couple times, and it dried in no time. As far as my underwear, I had some Adidas boxer briefs, synthetic. No complaints there. Bandana, which I had tied to the pack. My pants, I went with hiking pants. These are the Eddie Bauer. They're like a stretch. I'm not sure the name of them. Had them for a few years. They worked well, and they dried pretty good considering the conditions were not very good for drying stuff out there. You know, when it's damp out and there's no sunlight, you know, stuff's not going to dry too good. I also brought a buff, which was real super handy. I could put this right into the little pocket of the R1, and then usually if I got cold, you know, around camp, or when we stopped, I could put this on, or in the morning when you first start off and it's a little chilly, because there was a couple of days it was 35 out there. You could hike with this for an hour, you warm up, and then you could take it off and could put it right into, someplace. As far as my shirt, this is a long sleeve Patagonia Cool Dry. It's got a hoodie. It's super comfortable. Really nice and dried well. I would get wet, and this would dry just by hanging up, even though the conditions were not good for drying. As far as the socks, I brought 2 pairs of Darn Tough and 2 sock liners. These Darn Tough socks, they're fine. The only complaint I have is, when they get wet, these things don't dry out. I mean, they took forever. Like, I had to switch these out. Obviously, they get wet, and then the next day, there was a trick that I used with my shoes. I took one of the gallon Ziploc bags that I had my food in, and I used it for like a booty. Did that a couple of times. That worked, so that way I didn't have to put the dry socks into the wet shoes. That's that. I brought a Z seat, so that worked great, and use that right now. So would definitely bring that again. As far as my poles, these are the Lucky Cork Light. I've had these 5-6 years or so. Probably got thousands of miles on them. These are bomb proof. They're awesome. I've never had a problem with them. Highly recommend you bring some poles out there of some kind. You've got a lot of maneuvering around, streams and little creeks and mud holes that you got to rock hop on or balance on some sort of beam, some sort of small, tree that you're walking on. So definitely would recommend bringing poles. That's kind of a personal thing. As far as my shoes, these are the Hoka Speedgoat 3. Really love these things. No real issues. The only complaint I had is that they didn't dry out too good. But I mean, what can you do? I got the Dirty Girl Gators, which worked well for me. That's that. So then, as far as my sleep system, I brought the Climate Insulated V Static. It's the ultralight version, weighs a pound. Pad. Really nice. Highly recommend it. It's super warm. You can actually feel the heat bounce back at you when you're sleeping on this. It's not the biggest, fluffiest, cushioniest pad you're ever going to have. So if you need like 6 inches of cushion, this is not going to be for you. But super warm. And my sleep bag, this was the Kelty Sign 35. It weighs 2 pounds. It's, I know it's a little heavy, but it worked well for me. It's supposed to be good down to 29 degrees. No issues with it at all. The zipper is a little different. Basically it comes across you like so, and then there's a zipper at your feet. So if your feet get too warm, you can open that zipper up and let your feet kind of air out. It has a little hoodie, or has a hood with a little flap in it that you can stuff with clothing to make a pillow with. I kind of like that, and the hood was big enough that you can use it. I didn't zip it up all the way, and I was plenty warm. It got down to 35 a couple of nights. It was 37 one night. I was warm. So I think it would definitely go down to 29 without much trouble. Okay, so that's all right. And then as far as my sleep clothes, I brought these Cuddle Duds. They're the Walmart women's long underwear. When you're out there, nobody's gonna know. Okay. They're 8 ounces for the top and the bottom. And I also brought this Smart Wool balaclava. which is, I think it's a 250 weight. It's not the lightest one. I might be wrong about that, but I really like this. A little bit to get used to because you put it around your face, it's kind of right there. But, you know, keeps your whole neck and your face more or less closed up. Because, you know, when you're sleeping, it's 35 out, there's, you know, your exposed skin, your face, gets a little bit cool. But that worked great for me. So then moving along to my cook system, I did the freezer bag cooking. Cozy worked great. Got this from Darwin on the trail. So thanks for, you know, showing me how to make that. Worked well. The spoon is a Sea to Summit. It's a plastic spoon. Weighs half as much as those titanium spoons that you see out there. It's plenty long enough. It weighs, you know, like I said, half as much, and you don't get that metal mouthfeel with the metal spoons. So I like that, and I highly recommend the spoon. As far as my cook pot, this is Row Creek. It's basically 750 milliliter titanium cook pot, just like the other ones. You know, they're all kind of the same. Thick lighter, mini Bic, fuel canister, BRS stove worked great, no problems there. The little ShamWow I cut off. This was my pack towel, and I also packed it on here to keep this from rattling around so it didn't make a bunch of noise. And that kind of sit in there. Use the little stuff pouch. That's just how I did it, and it worked great. As far as my my light, it's you know, it's a Petzl Actic Core. It's got the rechargeable battery. Worked great. No complaints there. I also carried a compass. This is a Brunton thruhike 3. Never needed to use it, but you know, probably could have got away with bringing something a little smaller, but this is what I got. This is what I brought. And as far as my knife, this is the Leatherman style CS. It has some scissors on it, you know, which kind of worked fine. The has a little knife blade. You don't need anything more than that. Probably could get away with something smaller than that. Bottle opener, tweezers, little file on there. And then moving over to this side, got my water filter. This is the Katadyn. Worked great. You know, this little pouch is a 3-liter bag. Real convenient, these handles to get the water. You know, it's a lot easier than the Sawyer bags. You know, sitting there with a cup trying to pour it into the Sawyer bag. This you almost don't even need a cup unless it's a real small water source. This whole thing weighs 4 ounces. Definitely would bring it again, and definitely like this system. I also brought, which is not here, like a 1-liter Gatorade bottle, and that's what I've made my drink mixes in and drank out of. I didn't really carry much water on the trail at all because there's water like every 15 minutes. There's a stream or water source you're going to cross. So, you know, I drank a liter in the morning before we would head out. Lunchtime, I would have another liter, and then maybe have just a little bit in the bottle as we were hiking, not much. And then at dinner, I would drink another liter. And that worked well for me on this trail. I would do that again as long as the trail conditions are such. As far as my wallet, I went with the single-walled, ultra light, single zip, ultra inexpensive snack bag. You put your your money in there, you put your license in there, your bank card, you're done. You don't need to carry anything else in that. Brought the Nat Geo map of the Northville Placid Trail. Would bring this again. It was nice at nighttime to just kind of go over what we were going to do the next day. what my strategy was, even though I kind of had that down before we left. And you'll notice that don't have any sort of shelter here. We did a lean-to to lean-to hike. Just a couple notes on that. One, I would not do that in the busy time of the year when there's a lot of people out there. And two, you have to know where the lean-tos are, you have to know where you're going, you have to know what your options are, and you have to be prepared to get to the next shelter if the one you're going to is full, and you got to plan accordingly. You know what I mean? So if it's 6 o'clock at night and you're going to just get into the shelter, how far is it going to be to the next one? So you got to have all those things sorted out. It worked well for us. We ran into some people, and we didn't really have to alter any plans or anything. So that worked. I also brought some cheater eyeglasses, so I could read the details of the map. As far as my electronics bag, this little Ziploc ditty bag has power cord for my Fitbit Charge 3, which I brought, which was accurate, and I brought the phone cord, and this was an Anchor 10,000 milliamp battery pack, which didn't work that well. I got one charge for my phone, which is a 3,500 milliamp battery on the phone, and then I got to charge my Fitbit one time, and then this went dead. Not sure if it was because of the cold weather. It did get down to 35 a couple of nights, 37, and even the other nights it was upper 40s. So it may have affected the battery charger. So yeah, I'm not sure about that. You gotta have something out there. It kind of affected me though, because the phone, if I could have charged it one more time, I would have been able to take some more video, and that would have been nice to have some more options. Yeah. The toilet paper and hand sanitizer, enough said there. Plenty of privies on the trail. No reason to have to dig a cat hole. I mean, unless you're going to leave the camp without trying to go to the bathroom or something. This is my little Hygiene First Aid Bag. Has some ibuprofen, a few wipes, I've got some anti-chafing stuff in here, some Benadryl, your regular stuff. I do have a backup fire starter, is this little mini Bic. Toothbrush, toothpaste, it's not a lot, but it's plenty in here. There's also a kit in here to patch my pad. That's enough said about that. I also brought this Rocket Pure hand and foot balm, which I use most nights. Anytime we did some mileage, I would really make it a point to take care of my feet, and I massaged them, worked this in, and it helped a lot. My feet felt good every day. You do 20 miles, your feet, you're gonna feel it. And we had a couple of big days, but we had a few short days in there too. And this worked well, no complaints. I wish I didn't need to bring this whole big can, and I wish I couldn't really figure out how to decanter it into a smaller container. First of all, I didn't have a smaller container, and then probably could have just maybe heated it up and poured it. I don't know. We'll figure that out next time. And then I think that's it. I'm trying to look around here, see what else I may have forgot. The Garmin Tempe on my pack, I think I mentioned that. The temperature sensor, I really like that. I really like knowing what the temperature is, so I can gauge my sleep system and whether or not it's working, or whether or not, it's, because if you have no idea what the temperature is, or some broad range, you're, it's nice to know, I guess. For me, I like that. And I got the app for it on the phone, so that worked well. And the phone, As I said in the, it's a Samsung Note 9 Plus. Really did great video. When I first started the trail, I didn't realize that you had to hold it horizontal. So, because I thought when you did the video, you could just switch it back and forth, but you can't do that. So I learned that real quick after the first couple of days when I was watching the video. Anyways, that worked well. And I also brought a little small tripod, which I'm using right now. It's the Joby. It's like super light, it's like maybe 2 ounces, which I used a couple times on the trail and would bring it again. And I think that about wraps it up. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch in with you guys next time.